Hey guys, it's Kathryn, or if you know me from Instagram, Kat from Kat Bennett Photo. So if you're new to my page or this channel, a little bit of a backstory. I recently quit my job in consulting to travel full-time for about 6 months and starting in Central and South America, and then hopefully eventually going to Southeast Asia. But our first couple of months with my boyfriend and I are in Central and South America. And we just left Mexico after 2 weeks, and this is our third week currently in Guatemala. So as a part of preparing for this trip, the main question I've been getting a lot is how do you pack for a 6-month trip? And the last time I packed for a multi-month trip was when I was traveling just out of grad school in Europe, and all I brought with me was a carry-on backpacker's pack. And that was actually my intention for this trip as well, is to just do a carry-on backpacker's pack plus my backpack. With all the camera gear I decided to bring, I quickly found out that was not going to be possible, so I ended up with my carry-on pack, a personal sized camera bag backpack, and then I have a rolling suitcase for my additional camera gear. So yeah, that's how I've been traveling so far. We're also traveling a lot slower. We're doing about 2 weeks per place, which means that bringing that extra bag isn't as bad as I thought it would be than moving really quickly, where I definitely would only want a carry-on size backpack and my camera bag. So I'm here to go over with you guys a few things that we packed, things that I brought but probably didn't need to bring, things that I brought and also really use all the time, and then also just like how we put it all together in these small packs for 6 months. So here we go. So as I was saying, this video is mainly going to focus on packing if you just wanted to do it in a carry-on backpackers pack style travel, which is like what most backpackers or like nomads do. So that's going to be the main focus of this video, is that that's your kind of travel. And to start out, I guess I can talk about what the benefits are of just bringing the carry-on size backpack. The first one being that it's carry-on size, so whenever you take a flight, you don't have to pay for the bag. So price is probably one of the top things. Also, having a backpack is a lot easier than having a rolling suitcase, because if you're traveling over like dirt roads or cobblestone streets, like the city we're in right now is a lot of cobblestone, you want to be able to quickly carry your stuff instead of dragging it behind you. It's also like a lot easier if you like run through an airport. Another benefit of having a carry-on bag is that your luggage is never going to get lost. So you don't have to deal with the fact of, oh, I just got to a country and now I don't have my luggage for multiple days because the airline lost it. So this carry-on size backpacker's pack that I'm talking about, you can get several different kinds from like different brands, usually outdoors type brands, so like North Face or Patagonia or things like that. I go with Osprey. I've been using the brand for at least 5 years. It's one of my favorite backpack brands. And this is what my Osprey pack looks like. So it is the 46 liter backpack, which is the technical size of a carry-on bag, is 46 liters. So if you're looking for a carry-on size bag, that's the size you have to get. You can search through Osprey's websites or other companies' websites and look for different features of the bags. A lot of them have like attachable day packs, which is what my boyfriend's bag has. A lot of them have like different compartments and zippers, like mine has a laptop sleeve. So just different things like that, like whatever you're looking for, you can actually sort by on the website and find the bag that's perfect for you. Next, I can talk about some essentials I use for actually packing the bag. And the first one of those that I think is pretty important is packing cubes, which help you A, stay organized, so you can have different size cubes for different categories of clothing, and B, these ones are actually compression cubes, so they zip down and compress, so you can fit more stuff in your suitcase. Next is a toiletry bag. So one thing that I thought was important for having a toiletry bag is to have it have a hook, as you can see this one does. So it like zips up and is very compact, but also when it unfolds, it has a hook, and that's important for traveling because it gives you a place to put all your stuff. You can just like hang it on the shower or like the towel rod or whatever, and it helps you stay really organized. In my toiletry bag, I have 4 travel-sized bottles, which I think are 3.4 ounces. I got these like soft bottles instead of the hard bottles you normally see, so they're like a lot easier to get all the liquids out of them. We're starting out with these. I'm definitely gonna have to refill them. It's been 3 weeks and I probably have half of them are almost empty. But like we'll just refill them as we go. Next, I brought a laundry bag, a mesh laundry bag, so it makes doing laundry super easy. I just kind of hang it on like a door handle, and then when the laundry gets fuller, we do laundry, which is usually about once a week. I can actually just like toss the entire bag in the washing machine instead of having to like take stuff out and put them in the washing machine individually. If you plan on doing travel similar to how I do, which is like a lot of outdoors activities and things like that, I highly suggest having a foldable day pack. I got this day pack which folds up into itself into like a small pouch, so it's really easy to travel with. It's also water resistant. It's honestly like what I take to the beach most of the time, or like anything we do outdoors if I like want to leave my other bags at home in the Airbnb. In addition to that, if you plan on doing things once again outdoors or like going to the beach, or even just like to make sure, like just in case your Airbnb doesn't have towels, I highly suggest bringing a microfiber quick dry towel. I've also had this kind of similar type of towel for the past 5 or 6 years traveling. I've taken it on every single trip. I just bought a new one because my last one was too small, and this one is like beach towel size, so like really large. They're quick dry, they fold up really small, they're easy to carry. They can also be used as like a pillow or a blanket on a flight. Next I'll talk about technology that I brought, and a lot of these things are just kind of preferences, but things that I found helpful. I like to read books a lot, and in the States I usually buy books. I like to like have them in my hand, but obviously while traveling that's not as feasible, so I went ahead and got the Kindle Paperwhite. I haven't used it a ton yet, but hopefully gonna start using it more. So that's an option that's like super lightweight. The Paperwhite is also waterproof, so I can bring it to the beach with me. Next, we decided to bring an iPad, and that's in addition to our 2 like kind of work laptops, and that's been really helpful for like plane rides and stuff, and even like at night when we watch like movies or TV shows, download Netflix onto the iPad. It's just kind of like a fun extra thing to have. Something else that's an important technology piece to bring, depending on what countries you're traveling to, is a plug adapter. So currently right now, like where we're in Central America, we haven't had to, they have the same kind of plugs as the US does. We haven't had to utilize it that much, but the kind of plug adapter that I got also doubles as like a plug extension. It has 2 USB charging ports in it, and then 2 additional plugs, so you can just plug it into one socket, and now we have 4 ways to charge our stuff. And then also, if we do go to a country where we need to have an adapter, it comes with all the adapters. It's an international adapter, so we have all the adapters we can need. Next was a portable charger I can throw into my purse and make sure my phones are charged all the time. These are probably common to have whether you travel or not, but I just never had one before and thought it was important to have. The last and final piece of technology we decided to go with was a Google Fi phone plan, because they have really good international plans. They work in like 140 countries, and we like absolutely need to have access to the internet. So if the Wi-Fi at our Airbnb isn't that great, which has happened to us a couple of times, we need to have a hotspot available. So we went ahead and got the Google Fi plan. I don't think it's technically supposed to be used for international stuff like as much as we're using it, but we're just gonna see how it goes. I can keep you guys updated on that in the future. I've heard of some people getting kicked off if they use too much international data, so TBD. But in addition to that, you just need really a phone or a hotspot device where you can throw in a SIM card from the country you're staying in, so you can always have like internet access. Next we can talk about water bottles. Obviously very important when you travel to have water bottles. It like prevents you from having to buy millions of plastic bottles that just end up in a landfill somewhere, and B, it makes sure you have water with you at all times. So I travel with 2 bottles. The first one is like a Camelback insulated water bottle, and that's the one I mainly use. So we'll usually, because we're staying at Airbnbs like a little bit longer term, we'll buy like big gallons of water and keep them in the fridge, so we always have cold water. We just pour it into our water bottles like during the day to take out with us to places. And then secondly, a bottle that's like a little bit more pricey but I think is a really good investment is this like water purifying bottle. There's things like Life Straw and stuff like that, but I went with this company called Grail. And I went with them because when you're looking at travel water purification bottles, it's actually really important to look at the size of the filter, because a lot of like the Life straw bottles and stuff that are used more for like camping, they don't have a filter strong enough to filter out viruses, which is the most important thing you need to have for travel. So this water bottle is like a really great backup in case we don't have access to like go buy water somewhere. If the Airbnb doesn't come with purified water, we can just take water straight from the sink and purify it in like a matter of 8 seconds and have like a full bottle of water. Technically, you could also take this out to like a lake or a river or a pond or like anything and have clean water. So like while traveling, having clean water is the most important thing. So yeah, this water bottle is a really good backup for that. In terms of like health and medicine I have while I travel, just a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, this is not advice, this is just simply like what I brought with me. First, I brought like emergency kit, which is just in this plastic bag, but it just has simple things like Band-Aids, it has Benadryl, it has ibuprofen, it has like Neosporin, and I think some Sudafed. Those are all things you could easily buy probably while traveling, but I thought it'd be nice to have if you just like needed it. An important thing to do before you travel anywhere is to like look up online and see like what vaccines and medications are needed. You can go to a travel clinic, which is what we did. We went to a travel clinic, met with like a travel nurse who can look at the places that you're going and tell you exactly like what vaccines you need, what medicine you should bring. So for our specific locations, we ended up getting a typhoid vaccine, a yellow fever vaccine, and then also checking up that we had all of our routine vaccines up until that point, like tetanus or hepatitis A and B. And then she also prescribed us malaria pills because of some of the places we're traveling to. And then finally like a Z-Pack for like infections and things like that. So I would highly suggest going to a travel clinic before you start your trip. She also suggested that we bring with us Pepto-Bismol and like take it fairly often, especially in the beginning. Bug spray is super important, especially if you're traveling in places where like malaria is low risk, but there is a risk. So not necessarily like taking malaria pills, but just avoiding mosquitoes in general. So let's talk about travel safety. This was like a big thing for me just because I get scared enough living on my own in the US. And so traveling to like different hotels and Airbnbs, no matter if you're in the US or anywhere else in the world, always makes me like a little nervous because someone else has like keys to your place. So I think I went a little overboard in the safety stuff, but if you're traveling like solo as a female, this can be really important, or just anyone who's concerned with safety. So a few things that I have brought with me. Got this like door alarm thing that you can kind of insert into like windows or doors. It can work on like anything that closes, and it'll sound an alarm if it's open. Another that I got is kind of like this door lock stopper. So you can supposedly put this on like any kind of closing door and it prevents it from being opened even if someone has like a key. There's like tons of these devices on Amazon. You can kind of like look through them and see which ones you want. There's like door stopper alarms, just different things. If it makes you feel better when you're traveling, definitely look into it. I haven't felt the need to use them yet, but I like having them with me in case I do feel like I need to use them somewhere. And then safety of like your belongings. A lot of people travel with like padlocks. So I bought these like little locks, just like 3 combination locks that you can like throw onto like your suitcase zippers if you're moving around a lot during a day. So especially if you're gonna travel to a hostel, bringing your own locks is really smart. So exercise is like a very small category. Maybe it's not an important category for you, but it was for us while we travel. And honestly, mostly we've just been going to like local gyms and like running outside and surfing and doing things like that. But I also brought these resistance bands just because they were small. I can like quickly throw them in my bag, and they like make working out really like simple if I'm just staying at an Airbnb and don't have access to a gym. In addition, some like very random things that we brought that don't really fall into a specific category, but I feel like we've gotten a lot of use out of. I want to go ahead and mention. The first is our travel debit card. I could probably do an entire video on travel credit cards and debit cards, but having a travel debit card is really important because you're going to be taking out a lot of cash, especially if like the countries you're traveling to don't accept credit cards widely, which has been our experience. So if you get a travel debit card like this Charles Schwab card that I have, you can take out cash from any ATM and you get refunded the ATM fee every single time. And there's also like no transaction fees or like currency exchange fees. So I've had this card since like 2014 and have used it so many times in like probably in like 25 countries. And it's been like one of my most useful tools. Next, a really simple one, that's something that's been useful, is having a keychain. I got this one from Thread Wallets, and I just like having it because every time we go to a different Airbnb, we get a bunch of keys, we have car keys, we rent cars, we rent golf carts, so just having this keychain to like easily keep track of everything is helpful for me to stay organized. So also something that you may use at home, but is also, I thought, important for travel is having an eye mask. Just good to have for like when you're sleeping in airports, sleeping on planes, there's a lot of light at your Airbnb, just things you didn't plan for. I've used this eye mask probably every night since we've been traveling. Also my AirPods, I was actually very against AirPods before buying them just because I didn't want to have to think about charging something when you could just use earphones that like don't need to be charged. But the thing I love about these AirPods is that they have a noise canceling function, and I sometimes just put them in and don't even play anything and just press noise canceling, like especially on planes, and everything just is completely quiet. So I use these like literally every single day. Having something like this passport organizer has been important, especially with traveling with some of our vaccine cards. So we have to have the COVID vaccine card. We also have to have a yellow fever vaccine card. And then also having a passport, and then also keeping track of like customs forms when you're entering countries. I actually just got charged $30 for not keeping my customs form in Mexico for when I left the country. So I feel like if I would have had this passport organizer like my boyfriend does, I probably would have kept track of it better. Finally, these laundry sheets we brought with us. We haven't had to use them too much lately because we've just been paying to have someone do our laundry, which has been really cheap where we've been traveling. But it's nice to just have them, even to like if you need to throw your laundry like in the sink to do it or something, you don't have access to like a laundry machine. These like laundry sheets aren't liquid, so they're really easy to travel with. As for all the camera gear I brought, I could do a whole separate video on that, so let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a video on the camera gear. It feels 2 bags worth, so definitely a lot to talk about. And I've also linked as many items as I can to my Amazon storefront, so if you're looking to buy any of these things you saw today on Amazon, feel free to check in the description section and you can see my storefront and all these products that I brought with me. And thanks again for watching my first YouTube video, hopefully the first in a series of many. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and any ideas or questions, ideas for future videos, just let me know.